I should have known better than to answer a phone that wasn't mine. The restaurant hummed with its usual Friday night chaos, clinking glasses, bursts of laughter, the sizzle of steaks hitting hot plates in the kitchen. I wove between tables with practiced grace, balancing a tray of dirty dishes on one hip while mentally calculating my tips for the night. Rent was due in 3 days, and my ancient Honda needed new brakes. Again. "Excuse me, miss?" An older woman at table 7 waved me over, her diamond bracelet catching the ambient lighting. "Could we get more bread?" "Of course. I'll be right back." I flashed my customer service smile, the one that never quite reached my eyes anymore, and headed toward the kitchen. That's when I heard it. A phone, vibrating insistently against leather, abandoned on the corner booth seat. The booth that had been occupied by a group of impeccably dressed men all evening. Men who spoke in low tones, who made our manager nervous enough that he'd personally delivered their drinks. Men who radiated the kind of danger that made smart people look away. They'd stepped outside 10 minutes ago. All of them. The phone continued its angry buzz. I glanced around. No one was watching. My practical side screamed to leave it alone, but my fingers were already reaching for it. Maybe someone needed to reach them urgently. Maybe it was important. The screen lit up with Cyrillic characters. Vkhadyashiy vызов. I blinked. Russian. The caller ID simply read, Volkov. My grandmother's voice echoed in my memory, her heavily accented English mixing with the Russian lullabies she'd sung when I was small. She'd made sure I learned her native tongue, insisting I understand my roots even after my parents died. I hadn't spoken it in years, not since her funeral 5 years ago, but I still remembered. My thumb hovered over the screen. This was none of my business. I should put the phone down and walk away. Instead, I answered, "Allo?" The word felt strange on my tongue after so long. Silence. Heavy, calculating silence that made my pulse quicken. Then a man's voice, sharp as broken glass. "Kto это? Где Grigory? Who is this? Where is Grigory?" I'm sorry," I stammered in Russian, reverting to the language automatically. "This isn't my phone. The owner left it behind. I was just... your accent." The man switched to Russian so fluid it felt like silk and smoke. "Not Moscow. Not St. Petersburg. Where are you from?" "My grandmother was from Volgograd, but I..." "Interesting." Something in his tone shifted, became almost intrigued. "Tell me, what is a girl from Volgograd doing answering Grigory Volkov's phone in what I assume is some American establishment?" "I'm a waitress." He left his phone. I cut myself off. Why was I explaining myself to this stranger? "Look, your friend and his associates stepped outside. I can tell them you called when they return." "My friend," he laughed, and the sound sent an inexplicable shiver down my spine. "No, Devichka, Grigory works for me, and you've just become very interesting." Before I could respond, I sensed him. I don't know how I knew someone was behind me, some primal instinct that recognized predators. I turned slowly, phone still pressed to my ear, and found myself staring at a chest covered in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my entire yearly salary. My eyes traveled up, past the crisp white shirt, the subtle silver tie pin, the strong jaw shadowed with deliberate stubble, until I met eyes so dark, they looked black in the restaurant's dim lighting. Eyes that held intelligence, danger, and something that made my breath catch in my throat. He was devastating. Not handsome in a safe way, handsome in the way that storms are beautiful right before they destroy everything in their path. "Found them," I whispered into the phone, my Russian barely audible. The man before me tilted his head slightly. Those, lethal eyes never leaving mine. Then he reached into his jacket. I tensed and pulled out his own phone. He raised it to his ear. "Hello, Katya." His voice poured through the phone's speaker and directly from his lips simultaneously, creating a disorienting echo that made reality feel unstable. "That's your name, isn't it? It says so on your tag." I looked down. Sure enough, my name tag read, Katya, in cheerful script. My full name, Ekaterina, had been too long for the plastic rectangle. "How did you... I know many things." He stepped closer, and I caught his scent expensive cologne mixed with something darker, more primal. "What I want to know is why you speak perfect Russian. Why you answered a phone that didn't belong to you. And why?" He paused, his free hand reaching out to gently take Grigory's phone from my trembling fingers. "You're not running away right now." He was right. I should be running. Every instinct screamed danger, but my feet remained rooted to the worn carpet. Around us, the restaurant continued its oblivious rhythm, but in this bubble of space between us, time felt suspended. I was trying to help. I managed, finding my voice. That's all. Help. He tasted the word like wine, deciding if it was worth savoring. His eyes traced my face with an intensity that felt physical. Do you know who I am, Katya? I shook my head, not trusting my voice. Good. He smiled then, and it was beautiful and terrible all at once. Let's keep it that way for now. He pocketed both phones and turned toward his booth, where I noticed his men had returned, standing at attention like soldiers awaiting orders. But before taking another step, he looked back over his shoulder. Grigory, he called out in English now, his accent barely noticeable. Add a very generous tip to our bill. For Katya. And then, those dark eyes found mine again. Bring her to me. The world tilted. 4 words that felt like a death sentence and a dark promise all at once. Grigory, a mountain of a man with a scar bisecting his left eyebrow, nodded once. Yes, Mr. Romanov. Romanov. Even I knew that name. Anyone who'd lived in this city for more than a month knew that name. It was whispered in back rooms, printed in newspaper headlines about alleged organized crime, spoken with fear and respect in equal measure. Alexei Romanov. The Phantom of the East Coast. The man who controlled everything from the docks to City Hall, whose word was law in the shadows where regular rules didn't apply. And I just answered his employee's phone. In Russian, like it was nothing. His eyes never left mine as he sat down in his booth, a king on his throne, waiting. I should run. I should quit, grab my purse, and disappear into the night. Instead, like a moth drawn to flame, I felt my feet begin to move toward him. God help me. My legs moved on autopilot, carrying me toward the corner booth where Alexei Romanov sat like he owned not just the restaurant, but the entire world beyond its walls. Maybe he did. Each step felt like walking deeper into quicksand. I could feel the weight of his men's eyes on me, 5 of them scattered strategically throughout the restaurant, pretending to be ordinary diners but fooling no one. Especially not me. Not anymore. I'd been blind before. Willfully ignorant. I'd convinced myself they were just businessmen, maybe lawyers or corporate executives who liked their privacy. But now that I knew, I couldn't unsee it the way they sat with their backs never to doors, how their jackets hung slightly heavier on one side, the way they scanned the room with military precision. Sit, Alexei said when I reached his table. Not a question, a command wrapped in velvet. I'm working, I replied, proud that my voice only shook slightly. My manager has been compensated for your time. He gestured to the seat across from him with one elegant hand. A silver ring caught the light, some kind of family crest, intricate and old. Sit, Ekaterina. The use of my full name made something flutter dangerously in my chest. I sat. Up close, he was even more unsettling. This wasn't the manufactured attractiveness of actors or models, this was something raw, more dangerous. A face that had seen violence and inflicted it. Eyes that held secrets that could bury souls. But there was something else too. Hidden beneath the layers of power and menace. Something almost curious. You're afraid, he observed, leaning back in the booth with the casual confidence of a man who'd never had to fear anything in his life. Yet you're here. Why? You told your man to bring me, I said carefully. I assumed saying no wasn't an option. His lips curved slightly. Smart girl. But you're wrong. You always have a choice. He paused, studying me like I was a puzzle he intended to solve. You could have run out the back door. You could have called the police, though that would have been. He considered. Unwise. You could have. Pretended not to understand Russian when I called. But you didn't do any of those things. What do you want from me? The question came out sharper than intended. Want? He seemed genuinely amused by the question. Right now? I want to know why a waitress in a mediocre steakhouse speaks Russian like she was born in the motherland. I want to know why you have no fear in your eyes, only in your hands. He nodded toward where my fingers gripped the edge of the table. And I want to know what you saw when you looked at me. I saw trouble, I said honestly. The kind that ruins lives. Yes, he agreed. No trace of shame or apology in his voice. I am exactly that kind of trouble. And yet you're still sitting here. A waiter approached Michael, who'd been hitting on me unsuccessfully for 6 months and immediately froze when Alexei's attention shifted to him. The temperature at the table dropped 10 degrees. "We're fine," I said quickly, before whatever was happening in Alexei's head could translate into action. "Thank you, Michael." Michael practically ran. "Protective of your colleagues?" Alexei noted. "Loyal. That's rare. It's called being a decent human being. In my world, Ekaterina, decency is a luxury most can't afford." He leaned forward, and suddenly the space between us felt intimate, charged. "Tell me about your grandmother." The shift in topic caught me off guard. "What?" "Your grandmother. From Volgograd. She taught you Russian. What else did she teach you?" I should have lied. Should have given him nothing. But something about the way he asked genuine curiosity mixed with something darker made the truth slip out. "She taught me that the world is harder than it should be," I said quietly. "That family is everything, even when they're gone. That strength isn't about not being afraid, it's about doing what needs to be done even when you're terrified." Something flickered in his eyes. "Recognition, maybe. Or respect. She sounds like a wise woman." She was, until cancer took her. I didn't know why I was telling him this. After my parents died in a car accident when I was 8, she raised me, worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat, taught me Russian so I'd remember where I came from, even though we were stuck in Queens, barely making rent. And now you're here, working tables in a restaurant that doesn't appreciate you, living paycheck to paycheck. It wasn't a question. What would your grandmother think of that? Anger flared hot in my chest. She'd think I'm surviving, that I'm honest, that I'm not what? Not me. His smile was cold now, dangerous. "You're right. You're nothing like me. I don't just survive, Ekaterina. I conquer. I take what I want and I destroy anything that stands in my way." He paused. "But you interest me. Do you know how rare that is?" "Lucky me," I shot back, my grandmother's stubborn streak overriding my common sense. Instead of anger, I saw approval flash across his face. "Grigory," he called without taking his eyes off me. "What did you learn about our Katya?" Grigory appeared beside the table like a summoned demon, holding a tablet. "Ekaterina Volkov." My heart stopped. 26 years old, no criminal record, works 2 jobs, this and a coffee shop on weekends. No family, lives alone in a studio apartment in Brighton Beach. No boyfriend. No significant debts, except student loans from 2 years of college she couldn't finish. The violation of having my life summarized in seconds made me feel stripped bare. Brighton Beach. Alexei mused. "Little Odessa. You live among Russians, but you don't speak the language with anyone. Why?" "It reminds me of what I lost," I whispered before I could stop myself. The silence that followed felt heavier than words. "Loss," Alexei finally said, "is something I understand very well." He stood then, buttoning his jacket with precise movements. "You're going to work for me now, Ekaterina." "What?" "No, your rent is 3 months behind. Your car needs repairs you can't afford. You're one emergency away from being homeless." His voice was matter of fact, stating observations, not threats. "I'm offering you a solution, a job, better pay than you make here and at your coffee shop combined." "Doing what?" I stood too, meeting his eyes despite every instinct screaming to submit. He smiled then, genuine and terrifying, being useful, speaking Russian, and staying close. He reached out, and before I could react, his fingers brushed a strand of hair behind my ear. The touch was gentle, at odds with everything else about him. "I have a feeling, Ekaterina Volkov, that you're going to change everything." Then he walked away, his men falling into formation around him like a royal guard, leaving me standing there with my world crumbling and rebuilding simultaneously. On the table sat an envelope. Inside, I found $5,000 in cash and a business card with a single number. And somehow, I already knew I was going to call it. I stared at the business card for 3 days. It sat on my tiny kitchen counter like a live grenade, simple and deadly. No name, no address, just a phone number embossed in silver on black cardstock so expensive I could feel the quality between my fingers. I'd Googled Alexei Romanov, of course. The internet offered Fragment Society, page photos of him at charity galas in tailored tuxedos, newspaper articles carefully calling him a businessman and philanthropist, grainy surveillance images from a federal investigation that went nowhere. Between the lines, I read the real story. Organized crime, racketeering allegations, witnesses who disappeared, prosecutors who suddenly retired. The man was untouchable, dangerous, everything my grandmother had warned me about when she told me stories of the Bratva back in Russia, the brotherhood that operated above the law. I should have thrown the card away. Instead, on Tuesday afternoon, after my landlord left his third eviction notice and my car made a grinding sound that meant death was imminent, I called the number. It rang once. Ekaterina. His voice poured through the phone like aged whiskey. I was beginning to think you'd choose pride over pragmatism. I haven't agreed to anything, I said, gripping my phone too hard. I'm just listening. Smart. There's a car outside your building. Black Mercedes. Grigory is driving. He'll bring you to me. We'll talk. How do you know? But he'd already hung up. I looked out my fourth-floor window. Sure enough, a black Mercedes idled at the curb, as out of place in my neighborhood as a diamond in a coal mine. This was insane. I was about to get into a car with the mob, actually. Literally the mob, because I was desperate. Because the alternative was homelessness. Because some reckless part of me that sounded disturbingly like my grandmother whispered that sometimes survival meant making deals with devils. I grabbed my jacket. Grigory said nothing during the 40-minute drive, but his presence was oddly comforting. He had the energy of a loyal guard dog dangerous to enemies, protective of those under his watch. When he opened my door in front of a glass high-rise in Manhattan that probably had apartments worth more than I'd make in a lifetime, he offered a slight nod. 23rd floor. He's expecting you. The elevator was sleeker than my entire apartment. It moved so smoothly I barely felt the ascent. Just watched the numbers climb until they reached 23 and the doors whispered open. I stepped into a penthouse that stole my breath. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city like it was a kingdom laid out for conquest. The space was masculine but refined dark leather, chrome accents, art that I suspected was original and priceless. Everything spoke of power and money, but tastefully, without the gaudy excess I'd expected. And there, standing by the windows with a glass of something amber in his hand, was Alexei. He'd shed his jacket. His white shirt was rolled to his elbows, revealing forearms that were surprisingly muscular, marked with what looked like the edge of a tattoo disappearing under the fabric. His hair was slightly disheveled, like he'd been running his hands through it. Somehow, this version of him less polished, more human, was more dangerous than the controlled businessman from the restaurant. You came, he said without turning around. I'm pleased. You didn't give me much choice. You know exactly how desperate I am. Yes. He finally faced me, and those dark eyes tracked over me with an intensity that made me feel exposed. But you also came because you're curious. Because when you look at me, you see something other than just a monster. I see a criminal, I said, lifting my chin. Let's not pretend otherwise. A criminal, he repeated, amused. How delightfully blunt. He gestured to a leather chair. Sit. Let's discuss your employment. I sat, mainly because my legs were shaking. He took the chair across from me, close enough that I could smell his cologne again, sandalwood and something spicy. What do you know about translation work? He asked. What? Translation. Russian to English, English to Russian. I have business dealings that require someone fluent in both languages, someone trustworthy. He paused meaningfully. Someone who has everything to lose if they betray me. You want me to be a translator? That's it? Don't sound so disappointed. Ekaterina. Did you expect me to ask you to kill someone? His smile was sharp. Though if you're offering, I'm not. Pity. He took a sip of his drink. The job is simple. You'll attend meetings, translate documents, ensure nothing is lost in language barriers. You'll work from here or from my office downtown. Regular hours. Excellent pay. I'm thinking $5,000 a week to start. $5,000 a week. My entire life would change. I could save money, fix my car, maybe even go back to school. It was everything I needed, and it terrified me. What's the catch? I asked. Smart girl. The catch is simple. You belong to me now. You see things, you hear things, but you speak of them to no one. Not friends, not police, not priests. What happens in my world stays in my world. His voice went soft, deadly. Betrayal is not forgiven, Ekaterina. Ever. So I become complicit in whatever you do. You become loyal to someone who can protect you, provide for you, value you in ways this world never has. He leaned forward. Tell me something, when was the last time someone chose you? When was the last time you mattered to anyone? The question hit harder than it should have. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. But I'm offering you a choice. Stay in your crumbling apartment, work yourself to death for employers who will replace you tomorrow, and remain invisible. Or step into my world, let me give you everything you need, and matter. Why me? I whispered. You could hire anyone. Because, he said, and his hand reached out, fingers ghosting along my jaw before I could pull away. When you looked at me in that restaurant, you saw a man. Not a monster, not a king, not a threat, just a man. No one has looked at me like that in longer than I can remember. My heart hammered against my ribs. You're wrong. I saw all of those things. But you also saw the man, he insisted. And I find I want you to keep seeing him. His thumb brushed my lower lip, gentle and possessive all at once. 1 month, I heard myself say. Trial basis. If I hate it, I walk away. His smile was victorious. Deal. Though you won't walk away, Ekaterina. I'll make sure of that. God help me. I believed him. My first week working for Alexei Romanov taught me 3 things. First, the man never slept. I'd arrive at his penthouse office at 8 in the morning to find him already there, immaculate in a 3-piece suit, reviewing documents or conducting business in rapid Russian over the phone. I'd leave at 6, and he'd still be working, tie loosened but eyes sharp as ever. Second, his world was far darker than I'd imagined. The business dealings I translated weren't stocks and real estate. They were shipments and territories, protection and percentages, conversations coded in euphemisms that couldn't hide their true nature. Third, I was in serious trouble, because despite everything, I was drawn to him like gravity. You're frowning, Alexei observed, looking up from the contract I'd just translated. We were alone in his home office, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves surrounding us, the city glittering beyond the windows. It was late past 9, but he'd insisted we finish reviewing documents for tomorrow's meeting with the Italians. What troubles you? This. I gestured at the papers between us. Do you know what this actually says? It's an agreement to move stolen merchandise across state lines. He finished calmly. Yes, Ekaterina, I'm aware. And you don't care that I'm translating plans for felonies? I care that you're accurate. He stood, crossing to the bar cart and pouring 2 glasses of wine without asking if I wanted one. You knew what this job entailed. Don't pretend moral outrage now. He was right, and I hated it. I'd made my choice, cashed my first paycheck, moved into a better apartment. I'd bought groceries without calculating every penny. I'd called the dentist I'd been avoiding for 2 years. I'd breathed easier for the first time since my grandmother died. Blood money had never felt so much like freedom. Here. He handed me the wine red, probably worth more than my old monthly rent. Drink. You look like you need it. I did, hating how the expensive vintage tasted like silk on my tongue. Do you ever feel guilty about what you do? No. He settled into the chair beside mine, not across, beside, close enough that I could feel his warmth. Guilt is for people who believe they had better choices. I don't. Everyone has choices. Do they? His eyes found mine, and something vulnerable flickered there before his walls slammed back up. My father built this empire with blood and bullets. By the time I was 12, I'd seen more death than most people see in a lifetime. I either inherited his throne or watched everything he built, everything he killed for crumble. Tell me, Ekaterina, where was my choice? I thought of my grandmother, working herself to death to raise me. Of my own path, constrained by poverty and circumstance. Maybe we're more alike than I want to admit. Maybe, he agreed softly. But you still have innocence in your eyes. I want. He stopped himself, jaw tightening. Want what? To keep you from losing it. The confession seemed to cost him something. Which is absurd, considering I'm the one putting you in danger just by keeping you close. What danger? Before he could answer, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his entire demeanor changed, hardened into something cold and lethal. Grigory, he answered, standing abruptly. How many? A pause. I'm on my way. Lock down the building. No one in or out. He hung up, already moving toward a cabinet I'd never seen him open. Inside gleamed the dark metal of guns, lots of them. My blood turned to ice. What's happening? The Italians moved up their meeting. They're hitting one of my warehouses right now. He pulled on a shoulder holster with practiced efficiency, the gun settling against his ribs like it belonged there. You need to leave. Now. I don't understand, Ekaterina. He crossed to me in 2 strides, gripping my shoulders. They know you work for me. They saw you at my side last week. If they want to send a message, you're a target. His eyes burned into mine. Grigory will take you to a safe house. You'll stay there until this is resolved. How long? However long it takes. He pulled out his phone, typing rapidly. You'll have guards, everything you need. But you cannot leave, do you understand? These people don't negotiate. They don't show mercy. They'll use you to hurt me. The possessiveness in that last statement made my stomach flip. Use me to hurt you? He went very still. Then his hand came up, cupping my face with a gentleness that contradicted everything else about this moment. Yes, he said simply, because you've become something I don't want to lose. Before I could process that, before I could respond, Grigory burst through the door. Sir, we need to move. They just hit the second location. Alexei's hand dropped from my face, the gentleman disappearing behind the ruthless boss. Get her out. Take the back exit. Use the townhouse in Brooklyn, they don't know about it yet. What about you? I asked, hating the fear in my voice. He smiled, and it was the coldest thing I'd ever seen. I'm going to remind them why people fear the Romanov name. He walked toward the door, then paused. When this is over, Ekaterina, you and I are going to have a very important conversation. Then he was gone, and Grigory was pulling me toward a hidden panel in the wall I'd never noticed. And the penthouse that had felt like a gilded cage suddenly felt like the only safe place in the world. The panel opened to a service elevator. As the doors closed, I caught one last glimpse of Alexei through the office windows, silhouetted against the city lights, looking every inch the dangerous king I'd feared from the beginning. And somewhere between one heartbeat and the next, I realized I didn't just work for him anymore. I cared about him. God, I was so screwed. The safe house wasn't what I expected. Instead of some dingy basement or warehouse, Grigory brought me to a brownstone in Park Slope. Beautiful, understated, the kind of place young families bought in their dreams. Inside, it was furnished like a home, not a hideout. Warm colors, comfortable furniture, a kitchen that actually looked used. You'll be safe here, Grigory said, checking the windows with military precision. 2 men outside at all times. Don't open the door for anyone but me or Mr. Romanov. There's food in the fridge, clothes in the bedroom upstairs that should fit. How long? As long as it takes. His scarred face softened slightly. He'll keep you safe. That's what matters to him right now. After Grigory left, I explored my temporary prison. The bedroom upstairs was decorated in soft grays and whites, feminine without being fussy. In the closet, I found women's clothes with tags still attached, all exactly my size. Jeans, sweaters, dresses, even pajamas. He'd planned this, prepared for the possibility that he'd need to hide me away. The thought should have terrified me. Instead, it made something warm unfold in my chest. The first night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound made me jump, cars passing, neighbors coming home, the old house settling. I kept seeing Alexei's face in that moment. Before he left, the way he'd touched me like I was something precious. You've become something I don't want to lose. What did that mean? I was his employee, his translator, nothing more. Except for the way he looked at me sometimes, like he was trying to solve a puzzle that captivated and frustrated him in equal measure. The way he'd started sitting closer during our work sessions, finding reasons to brush against me, to let his hand linger on my shoulder when he reviewed my translations. The way my body responded to his proximity like it had been waiting for him all along. I was falling for a man who killed people, who ran an empire built on crime, who would probably destroy me without meaning to. My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Unknown number. Hello? I answered cautiously. You're awake. Alexei's voice washed over me, and I sagged against the headboard with relief I had no right to feel. Can't sleep, I admitted. Are you okay? What happened? I'm fine. The situation is handled. Something in his tone suggested handled meant something violent. I'm checking on you. Are you comfortable? Do you need anything? Just answers. When can I leave? Silence stretched between us, heavy with things unsaid. Soon, he finally answered. They're retreating, regrouping, but I need to be sure they won't retaliate by targeting you. Why would they? I'm nobody. You're not. His voice dropped lower, intimate despite the distance. You're mine, Ekaterina. That makes you everything. My breath caught. Alexei, I can't stop thinking about you, he continued, and I heard something raw beneath the words. Even in the middle of this mess, even with blood on my hands, you're all I see. Tell me I'm not alone in this madness. I should have lied, should have protected us both. You're not alone. I heard him exhale, like my words had given him oxygen. When this is over, when you're safe again, I'm not letting you go back to just being my translator. You understand that, don't you? What will I be? I whispered. Mine, he said simply, in every way that matters. The line went dead, leaving me shaking in the darkness. 3 days passed in strange suspension. Grigory brought groceries and updates. The Italians were backing down. Negotiations were happening. Alexei was handling everything, but he never came himself. I found myself watching the door like a lovesick fool, waiting for a man who probably shouldn't want me and I definitely shouldn't want back. On the 4th night, I woke to the sound of the front door opening. My heart slammed into my throat. I grabbed the lamp from the nightstand, pathetic weapon, but better than nothing, and crept toward the stairs. A figure moved in the darkness below, tall and broad-shouldered. Ekaterina. Alexei's voice floated up to me. It's just me. Don't brain me with furniture. I set down the lamp with shaking hands and descended the stairs. He stood in the living room, illuminated by streetlight through the windows, and he looked wrecked. His suit was rumpled, his tie gone, dark circles under his eyes suggesting he hadn't slept since I'd last seen him. It's over, he said. You're safe now. They won't touch you. What did you do? What I had to. He moved toward me, and I saw it then, the split knuckles, the bruise forming along his jaw, the way he held himself like every muscle ached. I'm sorry. For putting you in danger. For dragging you into this world. Then let me go, I said, testing him. His eyes flashed. No. Why not? Because. He closed the distance between us in 3 strides, and suddenly his hands were in my hair, tilting my face up to his. Because the thought of you leaving made me reckless. Made me dangerous. I burned half the Italian operations in this city to ash to make sure they'd never threaten you again. That's insane. I breathed. Yes. His thumb traced my lower lip, and I shivered. You make me insane, Ekaterina. You walk into my darkness with your light and your stubborn morality and your grandmother's steel spine, and you make me want things I shouldn't want. Make me feel things I thought I'd killed years ago. Like what? Like hope, he whispered. Like maybe I'm not just the monster everyone sees. I reached up, my fingers tracing the bruise on his jaw. You're not just a monster. Then what am I? You're a man, I said, echoing our first real conversation. A dangerous, complicated, infuriating man who terrifies me and... His forehead pressed against mine, our breaths mingling, and who I can't stop thinking about, I confessed. Even though I know this is wrong, even though you're everything I should run from. Then run, he challenged. I'll let you go right now. Walk away, Ekaterina, and I won't follow. I looked into his eyes and saw the lie. Saw that he'd follow me to the ends of the earth if I left. Saw that somehow, impossibly, this ruthless crime lord had fallen as hard as I had. I can't, I admitted. Thank God, he breathed. Then his mouth was on mine, and the world caught fire. Kissing Alexei Romanov was like touching a live wire electric. Dangerous. Impossible to pull away from even when common sense screamed to let go. His hands cupped my face like I was something holy, but his mouth claimed mine like he owned it, owned me. The contradiction made my head spin. He tasted like expensive scotch, and something darker, more addictive. When his tongue traced my lower lip, seeking entrance, I opened for him without thought. The kiss deepened, turned hungry. His hand slid into my hair, angling my head for better access, while mine fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. I felt his groan vibrate through both our bodies, felt the rigid control he maintained every second of every day start to crack. Ekaterina. He breathed against my lips, pulling back just enough to look at me. His pupils were blown wide, his careful composure shattered. If we don't stop now, I won't be able to. Maybe I don't want you to stop, I whispered, surprised by my own boldness. Something fierce and possessive flashed in his eyes. Then he was lifting me, my legs wrapping around his waist instinctively as he carried me toward the couch. He sat, settling me on his lap so we were eye to eye, his hands spanning my waist. "I need you to understand something," he said, his voice rough. "Once you're mine, I don't share. I don't let go. I'm not a man who does casual or temporary. If we cross this line, we're already across it," I interrupted. "You burned half the Italian operations for me. You planned this safe house, bought me clothes in my exact size, called me at 2 in the morning just to hear my voice. We crossed the line the moment you told Grigory to bring me to you." A smile curved his lips, genuine, unguarded. "You're right. I was doomed the moment you answered that phone in perfect Russian and looked at me like I was just a man." "You are just a man," I insisted. "A man who makes terrible choices and runs a criminal empire, but still, just a man." "Your man," he corrected, pulling me closer until there was no space between us. "Say it. That's insane. Say it, Ekaterina." His hand slid up my spine, leaving fire in its wake. "Tell me you're mine, and I'll tell you what I've been hiding since the moment we met." My heart hammered. "I'm yours." The words felt like jumping off a cliff. "Now tell me." His expression shifted, became almost vulnerable. "My father was a monster. A real one, not like the monsters people call me. He beat my mother until she stopped crying out. Then he beat her more for being silent. He raised me with fists and lessons about power and fear. By the time I was 16, I'd already killed 3 men under his orders. I stiffened, but his hands tightened on my waist, keeping me in place. When I was 18, my mother tried to run. He found her." His voice went flat, emotionless, the only way he could tell this story. "He made me watch what he did to her, made me understand that love was weakness, that caring about anyone gave your enemies weapons. Alexei," I breathed, my hands coming up to frame his face. "I killed him that night," he continued. "Took over his empire, swore I'd never be him, never raise my hand to a woman, never use fear as my primary weapon. I'd be ruthless, yes, but with rules, with honor, in my own twisted way." His eyes met mine, and I saw the boy he'd been beneath the man he'd become. But I also swore I'd never love anyone, never give enemies that weapon. And then you answered a phone in Russian, and everything I'd sworn fell apart. Tears I didn't remember shedding were sliding down my cheeks. "I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry." He brushed away my tears with his thumbs. "Be mine. Knowing all of it, what I am, what I've done, what I'm capable of. Choose me anyway, Ekaterina, and I'll spend every day of my life keeping you safe, making you happy, giving you the world you deserve." "I don't want the world," I whispered. "I just want you, the real you, not the king, not the boss. Just the man who looks at me like I'm magic." "You are magic," he said fiercely. "You make me believe I'm more than my father's son, more than a monster wearing a suit." I kissed him then, pouring every complicated feeling into it, fear and desire and something that felt dangerously close to love. He responded with equal intensity, his hands roaming my body with reverent possession. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. "Stay with me tonight," he murmured. "Just sleep. I need to hold you, to know you're real and safe and mine." "Okay," I agreed. He carried me upstairs to the bedroom, laying me gently on the bed before stripping off his shirt and shoes. In just his suit pants, I could see the full extent of the tattoos I'd glimpsed before, intricate Russian prison ink that told stories of violence and survival. A cathedral covered his chest, surrounded by stars that marked him as a Vorvi Zakoni, a thief in law, highest rank in the Brotherhood. I traced one of the stars with my finger. "Does this hurt? Your past?" "Every day," he admitted, settling beside me and pulling me against his chest. "But you make it hurt less." I pressed my ear against his heart, listening to its steady rhythm. "What happens now?" "Now," he said, his arms tightening around me. "You move into the penthouse. You stop pretending to be just my translator. You let me take care of you, protect you, worship you the way you deserve. And if people come after us again, then I destroy them," he said simply. "I've already warned every family from here to Moscow you're under my protection. Mine to cherish, mine to defend. Anyone who touches you signs their own death warrant." I should have been horrified. Instead, I felt safe for the first time in years. "I love you," I whispered before I could stop. "Myself." I know it's too soon, and I know it's crazy, but I love you too, he interrupted, his voice rough with emotion. My Ekaterina, my light in all this darkness. Я люблю тебя больше жизни. I love you more than life itself. I fell asleep in the arms of a monster who loved me like I was salvation itself. And somewhere between one breath and the next, I stopped being afraid. I woke to gunfire. The sound shattered my dreams' sharp cracks that made my body jolt with primal terror. Alexei was already moving, rolling out of bed with lethal grace, grabbing a gun from the nightstand I hadn't realized was there. Stay down, he commanded, his voice transformed into something cold and deadly. Under the bed now. What's now, Ekaterina? I scrambled under the bed, my heart trying to pound its way out of my chest, as more gunfire erupted downstairs. I heard men shouting, some in English, some in Russian, heard furniture splintering and glass shattering. They'd found us. Whoever they were. Alexei moved to the door, his body coiled like a predator's. He wore only his suit pants, the gun an extension of his hand, his tattooed chest rising and falling with controlled breaths. In that moment, he wasn't the man who'd held me tenderly, he was the king I'd feared, the monster who ruled with bullets and blood. The bedroom door exploded inward. 3 men burst through, guns raised. Alexei moved before I could scream, fluid, efficient, terrifying. 2 shots, 2 bodies dropping. The 3rd man got a shot off that punched into the doorframe, where Alexei's head had been milliseconds before. Alexei's return fire caught him in the chest. Silence fell, broken only by my ragged breathing. Ekaterina, stay there, Alexei said, checking the hallway. Grigory? Status. Clear downstairs. Grigory's voice echoed up. 5 hostiles down. 2 escaped. Sir, we need to move. This location is compromised. Alexei's jaw tightened. He moved back to the bed, crouching to meet my eyes. We're leaving. Now. Stay close to me. Do exactly what I say. Understand? I nodded, my throat too tight for words. He pulled me out gently, keeping himself between me and the bodies cooling in the doorway. I tried not to look, but I saw anyway young men, probably barely 30, their eyes empty of life, men he'd killed to protect me. I'm sorry, I whispered. Don't. His hand cupped my cheek briefly. Never apologize for me protecting you. This is what I am, Ekaterina. This is the life I lead. If you can't accept it, I accept it, I said firmly, surprised by my own certainty. I'm not leaving you. Something fierce and grateful flashed in his eyes. Then we were moving. Alexei's hand locked around my wrist as we navigated the stairs. Grigory and 2 other men flanked us, weapons drawn, scanning every shadow. The living room was a war zone. Bullet holes pockmarked the walls. Blood stained the hardwood. Bodies lay scattered like broken dolls. I pressed, my free hand over my mouth, fighting nausea. Who sent them? Alexei demanded. Not Italians, Grigory replied grimly. These are Volkov's men. I froze. Volkov? But that's your grandmother's family name, Alexei finished, his eyes meeting mine. Yes. I don't understand. My grandmother fled Russia decades ago. We have no connection to... You have more connection than you know. A new voice spoke from the doorway, accented, cultured, deadly. A man stepped through, flanked by armed guards. He was older, maybe 60, with silver hair and eyes like chips of ice. Hello, Ekaterina. I am Mikhail Volkov, your grandfather. The world tilted. That's impossible. I breathed. My grandmother said her father died before she left Russia. Your grandmother lied. Mikhail's smile held no warmth. She fled with my son, your father, to escape the life I built. Took my grandson from me. Raised you in poverty rather than accept your birthright. His eyes shifted to Alexei. And now I find you in the arms of my greatest enemy. How poetic. Alexei's grip on my wrist became painful. You attacked my safe house. Killed my men. This is war, Mikhail. This is family business, Mikhail corrected. The girl belongs to us. She carries Volkov blood. You have no claim. She's mine, Alexei said, his voice dropping to something primal. Touch her, and I'll burn your entire organization to ash. Romantic. Mikhail's eyes gleamed with malice. But you forget I trained you, Alexei. Your father learned his cruelty from me. I made the Romanov family what it is today. You think you can stand against me? I think, Alexei said carefully. That you're standing in my territory with 12 men, while I have 50 surrounding this building. You came here for intimidation, not war. So intimidate me, old man. Tell me what you really want. Mikhail's expression hardened. Then he looked at me, and something almost human flickered in his eyes. I want my granddaughter to know her heritage, to understand that she comes from a dynasty that spans continents, to claim her place in our family. By murdering people, I found my voice, shaking but steady. By attacking the man I love, some family, love. Mikhail sneered. You've known him weeks, and I've known my grandmother's stories my whole life. I shot back. Stories about why she ran. About the violence, the paranoia, the way your empire devoured everyone it touched. She chose poverty over that life. She chose freedom, and so do I. I stepped forward, putting myself partially in front of Alexei. I'm not your property. Not his property. Not anyone's. I make my own choices, and I choose him. So unless you plan to kill us both right now, get out. Silence stretched thin as a blade. Then Mikhail laughed a cold, appreciative sound. She has your fire, Natasha, he said to the ghost of my grandmother. Very well, Ekaterina. Make your choice. But know this, the Volkov blood in your veins makes you a target for our enemies. Staying with Romanov makes you a target for us. You'll never be safe. I'm not safe anywhere, I said. At least here. I'm loved. Mikhail's eyes met Alexei's. You love her? Truly? With everything I am, Alexei replied without hesitation. Then protect her better than you protected your mother, Mikhail said cruelly. Or history will repeat itself. He turned and left, his men following like shadows. The moment the door closed, my legs gave out. Alexei caught me, lowering us both to the floor, his arms banding around me like steel. Breathe, he commanded. Just breathe, my love. You're safe. I have you. He's my grandfather, I gasped against his chest. My family. Oh God, my grandmother ran from him. And you stood against him, Alexei said fiercely. Chose me over him. Do you understand how rare that is? How brave. I looked up at him, this dangerous man who'd killed for me, who'd go to war for me. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me we survive. This. That we don't become another tragedy. His hands framed my face, and his kiss was gentle despite the blood staining his knuckles. I promise you, he whispered against my lips, that I will fight heaven and hell to keep you safe. You're mine, Ekaterina Volkov, and I protect what's mine. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. Our war was just beginning. The penthouse felt like a gilded cage. Alexei had tripled security after Mikhail's attack, armed men on every floor, cameras watching every angle, bulletproof glass installed overnight. I couldn't leave without an escort. Couldn't even stand by the windows without Alexei pulling me away, his jaw tight with fear he refused to name. 2 weeks passed in tense limbo. Alexei conducted business from home, his empire moving around us like a dark tide while I translated documents and tried to pretend everything was normal. But nothing was normal. I caught him watching me constantly, like he expected me to disappear. He barely slept, and when he did, nightmares woke him scenes from his past, mixing with fears of losing me. We were both cracking under the pressure. You can't keep me locked up forever, I said one evening, watching him pace the living room like a caged panther. I'm going insane. You're safe, he countered. That's what matters. I'm suffocating. I stood, meeting his eyes. This isn't living, Alexei. This is existing in fear. Better fear than death. His voice cracked slightly. You don't understand what Mikhail is capable of. What he did to people who crossed him. I won't. I can't. He stopped himself, running his hands through his hair. I can't lose you. You're losing me anyway, I said softly. This version of us, this paranoia, it's killing what we have. He turned on me then, and I saw the monster surface. You think I don't know that? You think I don't hate myself for putting you in this position? But I'd rather have you alive and hating me than dead because I was careless. I don't hate you, I said, crossing to him. I love you, but love isn't enough if we're both drowning in fear. His hands gripped my shoulders, not quite painful but desperate. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to keep you safe and sane, and I'll do it. Let me help, I said. Stop treating me like a victim. I speak Russian. I understand this world now. Use me. Let me be part of the solution instead of the problem. No. The word was absolute. I won't risk you like that. You don't get to decide. My own temper flared. I'm not your doll, Alexei. I'm your partner, or I'm nothing. The silence that followed felt like the edge of a precipice. You're everything, he finally whispered, his forehead pressing against mine. Everything I never knew I needed. Everything I'm terrified of losing. Then trust me, I pleaded. Trust that I can handle this. Before he could respond, his phone rang. He answered with a clipped, "What?" Then went absolutely still, his face draining of color. "Where?" he demanded. "How many casualties?" "No. Seal the building. I'm coming." He hung up, already moving toward his bedroom, toward his guns. What happened? Mikhail hit one of my clubs. Killed 8 people, kidnapped 3 of my men. His voice was ice. He's declaring open war. Let me come with you. Absolutely not. If you leave me here alone, I'll follow you anyway, I said firmly. I know where you keep the car keys. I know how to get past your guards, Grigory taught me. So either I come with you, or I put myself in danger trying to reach you. He stared at me, torn between rage and admiration. You play dirty. I learned from the best. I grabbed my jacket. Let's go. The club was a war zone. Police lights painted the street in strobing red and blue, but by the time we arrived, they were already gone, paid off, or intimidated, the way things worked in Alexei's world. Bodies lay covered in sheets. Blood painted the walls. The air smelled of gunpowder and death. Alexei's men gathered like an army, waiting for orders. But my eyes caught on something else, a woman, maybe 25, sitting on the curb with a blanket around her shoulders, mascara running down her cheeks as she rocked back and forth. I moved toward her without thinking. Ekaterina, Alexei started. 5 minutes, I said over my shoulder. Please. He nodded once, jaw tight, and let me go. I sat beside the woman, not speaking at first, just being present. He killed them, she finally whispered. Looked right at me and said I should live to tell everyone what happens to Romanov's people, that we're all targets now. I'm so sorry, I said, my Russian feeling inadequate. She looked at me then, really looked. You're her, the one they're fighting over. Guilt crashed through me. I never wanted. He loves you. She gestured toward Alexei, who stood like a dark king among his men. I've worked for him 3 years. Never seen him care about anything except business. Then you came, and everything changed. He's human now, vulnerable. Her eyes hardened. Don't waste that. Don't make his vulnerability meaningless. Before I could respond, shouting erupted. I turned to see Grigory dragging a man forward, young, beaten, terrified. Found him hiding in the back, Grigory announced. Says Mikhail sent him with a message. Alexei crossed to him in 3 strides, yanking the man up by his shirt. What message? He says to tell you. The man trembled. Tomorrow night. Midnight. The old warehouse on the docks. Come alone, or he starts killing your men one by one, and he wants her there. His eyes found me. The Volkov girl. Or he kills everyone you love. The silence was deafening. Then Alexei's fist connected with the man's face. Once, twice, until Grigory pulled him back. Get him out of my sight, Alexei snarled. Before I do something we'll all regret. They dragged the messenger away. Alexei stood there, chest heaving, blood on his knuckles, looking more dangerous than I'd ever seen him. This ends tomorrow, he said to his assembled men. Tonight, we prepare. Tomorrow, we finish this. Alexei, I started. He turned to me, and I saw it the decision he'd already made. You're not coming. He demanded I be there. He can demand all he wants. I'm not delivering you to him. His voice broke. I'd rather start a war that destroys us both than hand you over. What if there's another way? I said, an idea forming dangerous, possibly suicidal, but maybe the only way out. What if I meet with him? Alone. Talk to him. Have you lost your mind? Alexei grabbed my arms. He'll kill you or worse. He wants me to join his family, I said. To claim my heritage. What if I pretend to consider it? Buy us time to figure out a real solution? No, absolutely not. I forbid it. You don't own me. I pulled away. I'm offering to help end this without more bloodshed. Without you dying for me. I'd die 1,000 times before I let him touch you. And I'd live 1,000 years knowing you died because of me, I shouted back. Don't you understand? I love you enough to do whatever it takes to keep you alive. We stared at each other, both breathing hard, the space between us charged with fear and love and desperation. If anything happened to you, Alexei whispered, I wouldn't survive it. Then we make sure nothing happens, I said. Together. As partners, the way it should have been from the start. His hands trembled as they cupped my face. You're the bravest person I've ever known, and the most infuriating. Takes one to know one. He kissed me then, desperate, possessive, like he was trying to brand himself onto my soul. When we broke apart, his eyes were wet. We do this my way, he said, with backup, with precautions, with enough firepower to level the docks if needed. Agreed. I leaned into him. Just promise me we both walk away from this. I promise, he whispered against my hair, even if I have to burn the entire world down to make it happen. Tomorrow would bring blood and bullets. Tonight, I held the man I loved and prayed we'd survive to see morning. Midnight at the docks arrived like an execution. Alexei had spent the day turning me into a walking fortress Kevlar vest hidden under my jacket, tracking device in my shoe, tiny earpiece so he could hear everything, emergency beacon in my watch. He'd also placed 50 men in strategic positions around the warehouse, snipers on surrounding rooftops, boats in the water as backup. You have 3 code words, he'd repeated for the 10th time as we drove through the darkness. Red for danger, blue for extraction, black for all-out assault. Say any of them, and we come in. Understood? Understood. I'd confirmed, trying to keep my hands from shaking. Now, standing outside the warehouse with Alexei beside me, his hand locked in mine, I questioned every decision that led here. Last chance, he murmured. We can still walk. Away. Let me handle this my way. Your way means war, I reminded him. Dead bodies on both sides, including possibly yours. This is the only chance for something different. His jaw tightened, but he nodded. 15 minutes. If you're not out in 15 minutes, I'm coming in. 30, I negotiated. Give me time to talk to him. 20. Final offer. His eyes burned into mine. And Ekaterina? If he touches you, if he threatens you, if he even looks at you wrong, I'm burning this place down with him in it. I kissed him soft, sweet, possibly for the last time. I love you. Я люблю тебя больше жизни, he whispered back. I love you more than life itself. Then I walked into the darkness alone. The warehouse was a cathedral of shadows and rust, lit by industrial lights that created more darkness than illumination. Mikhail stood in the center like a king holding court, surrounded by his men, at least 20 that I could see, probably more hidden. Ekaterina. His smile held triumph. You came. I'm impressed. You gave me little choice. I kept my voice steady, channeling every ounce of my grandmother's strength. You attack Alexei's businesses, kill innocent people, force this confrontation. What do you want from me? What I've always wanted. He approached slowly, hands open in a gesture of peace that fooled no one. For you to understand your heritage. Your father was my only son. You are all I have left of him. My father ran from you, I said. Died running. That should tell you everything about what he thought of your heritage. Pain flashed across Mikhail's face, genuine, raw. He misunderstood. I was trying to protect him, prepare him for a dangerous world. Instead, he took my grandson and fled, leaving me alone. You weren't alone. You had your empire. An empire is nothing without family. His eyes met mine. You think Alexei loves you? He loves what you represent. Innocence, redemption, escape from who he really is. But you can't change him, Ekaterina. He's a killer, a monster, just like I am, just like you'll become if you stay with him. Maybe, I agreed, surprising him. Maybe loving him will change me, but at least it'll be my choice, my transformation, not something forced on me by blood and threats. You're naive. His voice hardened. The moment you met him, you stopped having choices. His enemies are now your enemies. His sins are now your burden. You'll live in fear, watching over your shoulder, never able to trust anyone. Is that the life you want? If it's with him? Yes. I stepped closer, into the light, because he sees me, grandfather. Not my bloodline, not my usefulness me. He makes me feel valued and precious and fierce. What would you offer me instead? Power? Money? A family that rules through fear? I would offer you everything. Mikhail's control cracked. Your grandmother stole your father. Poverty stole your childhood. And now this Romanov bastard is stealing your future. When will someone put you first? Alexei puts me first, I said quietly. Every decision he makes, every risk he takes, it's all to keep me safe. Can you say the same? Silence fell, heavy as lead. Then Mikhail's expression shuddered. I see. You've made your choice. I have. Then I'm sorry, my dear. He pulled a gun from his jacket. But if you won't join me willingly, you'll join me as a martyr. Your death will destroy Alexei, and in his weakness, I'll finally break him. You'll serve your family after all, just not the way you hoped. Terror flooded my veins. Red. I breathed into the microphone. Red. 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 Mikhail's men raised their weapons. I dove behind a concrete pillar as bullets started flying. The warehouse exploded into chaos, doors bursting open, Alexei's men pouring in, gunfire echoing like thunder. Through the madness, I saw Alexei enter like an avenging angel, his face twisted with rage, his guns blazing. He moved through Mikhail's men, like death itself, taking bullets that his vest caught, never stopping, never slowing. Ekaterina, his voice cut through the chaos. Where are you? Here. I shouted, but Mikhail was suddenly there, grabbing me, pressing a gun to my temple. Stop! Mikhail screamed. Everyone stop or I kill her. The gunfire ceased. In the ringing silence, I met Alexei's eyes across the warehouse. I'd never seen such raw fear on another human's face. Let her go, Alexei said, his voice shaking. This is between us, Mikhail. Let her go. She's the only leverage I have left. Mikhail's gun pressed harder against my skull. You've destroyed everything else. My businesses, my reputation, my men, but I still have her. Please. Alexei lowered his weapons. Please, I'm begging you. Take everything from me. Take my empire, take my life, just don't hurt her. Your life? Mikhail laughed bitterly. What good is your life when you've already destroyed mine? No, Alexei. You'll watch her die, knowing you couldn't save her. Just like you watched your mother. Time seemed to slow. I saw Alexei's finger twitch toward his gun, saw Mikhail's finger tighten on the trigger, saw my entire future balanced on a knife's edge. So I did the only thing I could. I spoke in Russian, my grandmother's language, and I lied like my life depended on it because it did. Wait, I gasped. Wait, you're right. He can't protect me. He couldn't save his mother, and he can't save me. But you, your family, blood, maybe that means something. Mikhail hesitated. You'll join me? I'll consider it. Give me time. A week. Let me see both sides clearly before I choose. I met Alexei's eyes, praying he understood. If you kill me now, you lose. But if you let me go, you might win. The silence stretched thin as a thread. Then Mikhail lowered his gun. 1 week. You'll stay neutral. Speak to no one. Consider your options. Then you'll choose him or me, life or death. Agreed, I whispered. He released me, and I stumbled forward. Alexei caught me, his arms crushing me against him, his whole body shaking. Get out, Mikhail commanded. All of you, before I change my mind. We retreated slowly, carefully, weapons trained on each other until we reached the street. Then Alexei was pulling me toward the car, his hands checking me for injuries, his breath coming in ragged gasps. You're insane, he choked out. Brilliant and insane, and I love you so much I can't breathe. I had to buy us time, I said. We need a plan, a real one. I have a plan. He cupped my face, his eyes wild. We run. Tonight. I have resources, safe houses in other countries. We disappear, start over. Running isn't living, I interrupted. We'd spend our lives looking over our shoulders. No, we need to end this. Permanently. How? His voice broke. He'll never stop. Not until one of us is dead. I looked back at the warehouse, my grandfather's silhouette visible in the doorway, and felt something shift inside. Me, some final piece of innocence dying, replaced by cold determination. Then we make sure it's him, I said quietly. And God help us both. The plan was suicide. That's what Grigory called it when I laid out my idea the next morning. Alexei paced the penthouse like a caged animal, alternating between calling me brave and begging me to reconsider. You want to wear a wire? Meet with me, Kyle, and get him to confess to crimes on tape. Grigory summarized, his scarred face skeptical. Then what? Turn it over to the FBI? They've been trying to nail these families for decades. Not the FBI, I corrected. To his own people. To the Brotherhood. I looked at Alexei. You said he's lost respect, that his men are questioning him. Give them proof he violated their codes, murdered civilians, betrayed other families, put personal vendettas above business. They'll remove him themselves. Alexei stopped pacing. That's actually possible. The Brotherhood has strict rules about collateral, damage, about wars that draw too much attention. If we prove he's broken those rules, the Council will sanction him, Grigory finished, understanding dawning. They'll strip his authority, maybe even order his death. But I have to get him talking, I said. Really talking. And for that, I need to make him believe I'm choosing him over you. No. Alexei's voice was absolute. I won't send you back to him. Not again. You're not sending me. I crossed to him, taking his hands. I'm going. Because this is the only way we get our lives back. The only way we stop running or fighting or dying. His eyes searched mine. If something goes wrong, then you'll save me. You always do. I smiled, trying to lighten the darkness. I have faith in you, Alexei Romanov. Time you had faith in yourself. 24 hours later, I stood in Mikhail's office, elegant, old world, lined with books and icons that spoke of a man who saw himself as royalty. He poured tea like we were having a pleasant family reunion, not planning betrayals. I'm glad you came, he said, settling across from me. I've been thinking about your grandmother, about all the years I lost. I don't want to lose you too. Tell me about her, I prompted, the wire hidden under my blouse recording everything. What was she like before she ran? He smiled, genuine, sad. Fierce, like you. She challenged me constantly, never accepted my authority blindly. I loved her for it, even when it drove me mad. His expression darkened, but she made me weak, made me hesitate when I should have been ruthless. That hesitation cost me everything. What do you mean? There was a war. Another family tried to take our territory. I showed mercy when I should have crushed them completely because your grandmother begged me to. She convinced me that unnecessary bloodshed would corrupt my soul. He laughed bitterly. 6 months later, they killed 23 people in a church bombing, trying to get to me. Innocents, children, all because I was weak. That's horrible, I said, meaning it. Yes. So I became stronger, harder. I removed the weakness sent your grandmother and father away, where they couldn't soften me anymore, and I became what I needed to be to survive. A monster? The word slipped out. A king, he corrected. I've done terrible things, Ekaterina. Ordered deaths, destroyed families, violated every moral code your grandmother taught me, but I built an empire that protected thousands. That fed families, provided security, created order in chaos. By killing people who opposed you, by removing obstacles. He leaned forward. You judge me, but you love Alexei. He's done the same things, killed the same way. The only difference is he pretends to have honor. He doesn't pretend. He has rules, lines he won't cross, like I had, until life forced me to cross them. Mikhail's eyes gleamed. Give him time, and he'll break every promise he's made to you. Power corrupts absolutely. My, dear, even love. Then why do you want me to join you? If power corrupts, why pull me into this world? Because someone has to carry the Volkov name forward. Because you're all I have left of my son. And because... He paused. Because I'm dying. I blinked. What? Cancer. Stage 4. I have perhaps 6 months. He smiled sadly. I want to leave my empire to someone who shares my blood. Someone who could make it better than I did. You could be extraordinary, Ekaterina. With proper training, with the right support, you could rule with both strength and the compassion I lost. My throat tightened. I'm sorry, truly, but I can't become what you want. Because of him, not a question. Because of me, I corrected. I've seen what this life does to people. The paranoia, the violence, the way it devours everything good. I won't become that. Then you'll die young and foolish, clinging to romantic notions about love conquering all. His voice hardened. Last chance, Ekaterina. Choose family, choose legacy, choose survival, or choose him, and doom you both. I stood, my hand moving to the device hidden in my bracelet, the signal for Alexei to move in. I choose love. I choose the chance at something real. And I choose to believe you could have too. Once. I'm sorry you forgot how. His face twisted with rage and sorrow. Then you're dead to me. I was always dead to you, I said sadly. You just wanted to resurrect a ghost. The doors burst open. Federal agents poured in, not Alexei's men, but actual FBI, because Grigory had been smarter than we'd planned. He'd taken my recording directly to a prosecutor who'd been building a case for years. Mikhail Volkov, an agent announced. You're under arrest for racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder, and about 50 other charges. Mikhail didn't fight. He just looked at me with something like respect. Your grandmother would be proud. I hope so, I whispered. They led him away, and I collapsed into Alexei's arms as he ran through the door, his face wild with relief and fear. It's over, I breathed. It's finally over. 3 months later, the beach house in the Bahamas was everything Alexei promised. White sand, turquoise water, and enough distance from our old lives that we could finally breathe. We'd testified. Watched Mikhail's empire crumble as the Brotherhood sanctioned him and the government convicted him. Alexei had stepped back from his own operations, promoting Grigory to handle day-to-day business, while he focused on legitimate ventures. We weren't innocent. We'd never be truly free of the past, but we were trying, building something new from the ruins of our old lives. I stood on the balcony watching the sunset, feeling Alexei's arms wrap around me from behind. What are you thinking about? He murmured against my neck. How my grandmother would have loved this view. How she'd say we earned our happiness. Did we? He turned me to face him. Earn it? I looked at this man who'd killed for me, who'd loved me through impossible darkness, who'd chosen me over his empire. Yes, I think we did. He kissed me then, soft, sweet, full of promise. When he pulled back, his eyes were bright. Marry me, he said. Not because you have to, not because it's expected, but because I want to spend every day of the rest of my life proving I deserve you. I laughed, tears streaming down my face. You're terrible at this. You didn't even get on one knee. He dropped to one knee on our balcony, pulling out a ring that caught the dying light, old Russian design. Probably worth a fortune. Ekaterina Volkov, you infuriating, brave, impossible woman, will you marry me? Yes, I breathed. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. He slipped the ring on my finger, standing to kiss me again, deeper this time, full of everything we'd survived and everything we'd become. We'd been forged in darkness, tested by blood, nearly destroyed by love, but we'd survived. And in surviving, we'd found something worth more than any empire. Each other.